I am Adam Ewing.
I'm Luke Escude.
I'm Grayson Audette.
I'm Ethan Webster.
I'm DeVey. And this
is the Jet Engine.
The first ideas of a jet engine can be traced back to the 1st century AD with the invention of the Heliopile in Greece. This was a suspended ball over a platform, and when heated, the ball would spin. After this invention, there wasn't any further development of the idea until the 13th century in China. The Chinese had invented the rocket, and it was used as a military weapon. The truth was that the jet engine was too inefficient at slow speeds to be pursued any farther until the early 20th century. There were a few notable finds in the early 1900s. Secondo Campini built the first thermal jet. Henry Coonada built the first ever jet-propelled aircraft, the Coonada 1910. In 1913, René Laurent built the subsonic pulse jet, a form of the jet engine. In the early 20th century and World War II, piston engines powered most planes. Engineers were starting to realize that the piston engines had their limitations, and the jet engine was getting a more serious second look. The first major step toward a jet engine was not on a plane at all. In 1915, Albert Fono in Hungary invented a way to increase the range of artillery. There were steps towards a jet engine, but nothing very promising, until two men separated and unaware of each other made a huge accomplishment. In 1928, Frank Whittle was just an RAF College Cranwell cadet in the United Kingdom, but in 1930, Whittle submitted a patent for his invention, a turbojet. The patent was approved in 1932, and in 1937, Frank Whittle had his first jet engine built and running. But due to a lack of financial backing, Whittle's project was stopped, dead in its tracks. But unknown to Whittle, another man was working on a very similar project. In 1935, Hans von Ohain in Germany started work on an engine similar in design to Whittle's, and Ohain was set up with Ernest Haeckel, owner of the Herth Engine Company. In September of 1937, the duo had their first engine running, the HES-1. The main difference in the design of Whittle's jet and Ohain's was that Frank Whittle's ran on liquid fuel, while Ohain's worked on hydrogen. Ohain's final model of the engine, the HES-3, was put into the Heinkel HE-178, the first plane ever to fly purely on turbojet power. It was flown by Eric Horsitz on August 27, 1939. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, Whittle's Power Jets Limited started to receive Air Ministry money, and much later, while they had the W1 engine built and finished in 1941. It was fitted to the Gloucester E-28/29, and on May 15, 1941, the Gloucester E-28/29 became the first British plane to fly solely on turbojet power. Today, we recognize Frank Whittle and Hans von Ohain as co-founders of the jet engine. Although there were jet engines available, many aircraft companies decided to stay with piston engines in the 1940s. In 1944, the German Nazis were losing the war and they needed new technology. Messerschmitt Me-262 was the first fighter jet propelled by jet engines. The fighter had a huge edge on slower and less maneuverable piston engine planes. The Arado AR-234 was the first bomber propelled on jet engines, and it was introduced into the German Luftwaffe on September of 1944. The Arado bomber was the last Luftwaffe plane to fly over England in April of 1945. In the 1950s, advancements in jet engines improved in large steps. Almost all of planes in the 1950s were powered by jet engines. By the 1960s, large civilian aircraft were also powered by jet engines. Finally, in the 1970s, the high bypass jet engine was invented, increasing efficiency beyond that of the piston engine. The flying world had been powered by the jet engines for half a century. Today, more advanced forms of the jet engine are being tested and introduced, such as the scramjet. In the future, the possibilities of jet propulsion are endless, as already, jets have taken humans to the moon and taken probes to the far reaches of our solar system. Scientists and inventors are working on many new models of propulsion right now.
This is the jet engine. The jet engine can be split into four main components: the compressor, the combustor, the turbines, and the exhaust. The compressor draws air from outside. It compresses the air down and funnels it into the combustion chamber, at which point the air is under tremendous pressures. This pressure is so great, about 600 psi, that in the next component, the combustor, when fuel is added, heat energy increases dramatically to about 2,100 degrees centigrade, and tremendous energies are produced, like a miniature explosion. This energy is pushed through the turbines, which are almost like reverse compressors and often power propellers and other equipment in the engine. But at this temperature, the metal composing the turbine will melt, so cooler air must be continually pumped into the combustion chamber, lowering this heat energy to around 1000 degrees centigrade. Some of it is used to power turbines and the compressor, while the majority of the air is expanded in the turbines and thrust out of the engines in the exhaust. And by Newton's third law, every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction. The air is taken in at normal speeds and shot out at the engine at far greater velocities, so the airplane moves forward. This is the principle at work in almost every working jet engine to this day.
Jet engines have definitely made improvements upon themselves, but have also made improvements on commercial applications such as airliners, cargo planes, and shipment jets. Airlines such as Delta, American, Southwest, and Continental all depend on large companies for their jet engines. Over the years, jet engines have become more lightweight and efficient, and have adapted well to commercial airliners that carry passengers across the world in short amounts of time. Companies that build jets include Pratt & Whitney, Lockheed Martin, and Boeing. Also, in my own home state of Texas, this includes Bell Helicopter. These companies use millions of dollars to create high-quality, state-of-the-art engines. These engines can then be used to mount on planes that carry cargo, passengers, or mail across the world. Federal Express, also known as FedEx, is an example of commercial adaptation of jets for use with mail and package shipment. As commercial uses become far more frequent, changes in the aviation industry happen quickly, making jet engines more versatile, including improvements in safety and efficiency.
Jet engines have made a huge impact on the military and armed forces. Before the invention of the jet engine, it could take days or even weeks to move troops or supplies from one location to another. Now, thanks to the jet engine, moving large amounts of troops is much quicker and a lot easier. Jets have also greatly impacted our air support. From recon planes to stealth bombers, it all leads back to the jet engine. Air vehicles are now much faster and a lot more efficient, cutting the prices of air support. Some bombers and planes can go up to heights of 85,000 feet. That's 16 miles high. The invention of the SR-71 Blackbird was a huge jump in technology, and it would be nothing without the jet engine. The jet powered the plane up to speeds of 2,193 miles per hour, shattering all past speed records by a long shot. Because of the jet engine, the power and speed of our military has skyrocketed, no pun intended, and has brought us to a new era.
Because of the speed and efficiency of jet engines, they provide fast and easy transportation worldwide for billions of people. The innovation of these machines has affected the world in many ways, including the spread of popular culture, the globalization of goods and services, and even migration. So it goes to show you that the jet engine has drastically changed the lives of many people, most of which aren't even aware of that. The future holds much for jet engines. Recently, scientists have been testing biofuels for use with these engines to try and make them environmentally friendly. Scientists are also designing jet engines made of plastic materials and polymers. These plastics and polymers have yet to be discovered and must be as light as a feather, yet as strong as a board. Aircraft designers do many tests to find the right materials that can withstand extreme heat and humidity on the ground, yet minutes later deal with the cold, dry conditions in the air. A very recent development has been made by Bell Helicopter in the invention of the V-22 Osprey, a helicopter whose turbines can rotate, each powered by a jet turbine engine.
Jet engines have truly revolutionized the world in more ways than we can convey in this presentation. The innovation of the jet engine has had a far-reaching impact throughout the world. Next time you're in an aircraft, we hope that you understand and admire the effort people have expended into enabling you to soar amongst the clouds.